with the Mason Comets here. The Mason Comets here, playing in their fourth year under Coach Brian Castner, about to. And Coach, let's get right into it. 18-13, pretty good record for your first 3 years establishing yourself. Talk about what it's been like in general over those just 3 years, kind of establishing what you like to do as a football coach and getting the Mason Comets to be Coach Castner's Mason Comets.
I'd probably have to start with our staff and implementing, what we believe in and picking the right guys that you want to surround these players with. And, we're developing men every day. And I wanted to make sure that 3.5 years ago, I focused on our staff. And then after we put those people in place, then we started focusing on these young men that are up here. And we've really had a good success with where we're at.
Well, Coach, we focus on the young men up here, but momentarily, let's talk about 11 seniors you lost that were either first or second in conference. I mean, that's a half a football team right there. When you look at it, how difficult is it for you to replace those guys? I mean, certainly it's not easy.
It's not easy, but I will say that the group that we have, Team 52, the seniors, have really kind of embraced the juniors and the sophomores, and we're working through some things. But most importantly, it starts with these seniors. We have 3 returning starters on offense and 3 returning starters on defense, and we're hoping that those 3 lead on both sides of the ball and bring in some juniors and some sophomores, and hopefully we can get things done.
Well, strength should be with those new guys. And Coach, one thing I see watching high school football teams develop year in, year out, when you have such a good senior class that moves on, you've got a lot of guys that were hungry, guys that didn't get playing time because of how good those guys were. Guys that you may not have heard of because of the guys in front of them, the guys that were a year older, so physically bigger, who now get their opportunity. Their opportunity may only be 10 games instead of 20. Talk about what you maybe see in your players that you see stepping into these roles for the first time, relishing that opportunity after having to watch others take their place.
Well, I tell you what, our coaching staff, again, I go back to our coaching staff, really work very hard at putting these kids in a good position to be successful, and it starts with practices. And these players have embraced the practices, whether it's a 2-a-day practice or in season. And the underclassmen, the juniors and sophomores, and then the incoming freshmen have really embraced what we do. And I tell you that the players deserve that credit for taking control of it. And that's what we've really hung our hats on. Because every practice that we go through, and even today I commented on, the flow of practice, the transition from period to period. The horn goes off, we go to the next period. The horn goes off, we go to the next period, and we've got a good steady jog. And the players now are 4 years in, really. This senior class came in when we came in, and it's truly a family. I don't think you'll get a different answer, not just from these 3, but the 130 plus kids that we have practicing every day. It's a special feeling right now in Mason. Regardless if we're 6-4, 7-3, 8-2, we're really doing some special things together off the field also. So it's a neat experience.
Now, Coach, you talk about this is your first real senior class. One, you replace a lot of guys. So you've got a lot of new players here, but these are guys that you envision being your first senior class that you brought through. When you talk about a game plan, be it offensively or defensively, do you try to model guys into your system? Do you try to model a system around the freshmen that'll be your first group of seniors? Or do you just try to do what works best for those group of guys each individual year?
It's easy to stand up here and say we do what we do, but we really try to find balance. We try to find balance with what we have. We try to find Jensen's strength at quarterback, Matt at Mike linebacker. We try to find out what he's good at and try to rally around that best we can. But in the same breath, we're a disciplined group that believe in what we're doing. We worry about ourselves. We worry about us. That's been the motto the whole offseason is us. We don't really care who we're playing right now. Game 1, we know it's a blue and white team, and we're honest with that. We don't really say that name much. And they beat us last year. And so we really are excited about the opportunity of going up to Care Flight Field and playing them. They're a returning playoff team. And I know they're excited to have us.
and so it'll be interesting. But these seniors have really embraced what we do.
Coach, no doubt the only variable you control is you and your players. Let's get to know some of these players. If you want to just introduce them real briefly, or we could just start right down the line. Let's just do that then.
Hi, I'm Matt Stewart. I'm a running back linebacker. I'm going to be a returning starter.
Matt Stewart, first of all, let's talk about the fact that you have verbally committed to Navy. A lot of places you can go, play football, free education, very good thing. A little bit more goes on in Navy. I mean, to stay 4 years, you've now committed to the country as well. Talk about, obviously it's something we at Tri-State Football really embody because we love our partnership with the U.S. Marines and our backyard battle. Marines, Navy, I'll let them fight over who recruited you, but in the end, talk about what it is to make that commitment to the country as well as that commitment to 4 years of strict education and tough football.
Yeah, well, it's something that I've always wanted to do. I was like 5 years old and I was watching Top Gun. I wanted to be a fighter pilot like Maverick. And, football has been a passion of mine since very, very young age. And, having the opportunity to play football and do what I want to do, my dream, is just an awesome bonus.
One, good times, because most people would think Top Gun was an Air Force movie, and it's not. It's a Navy movie. Very good. Talk about that game. I guess it's in the end of the season in Philadelphia that you'll hopefully be playing in one day, and I'll hopefully be watching it. And something I'm sure you've watched at least in passing if you weren't committed to Navy last year when it happened. That Army-Navy game is one of the most impressive sights, and I'm sure that you've paid a little more attention to it than most.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm really excited to watch it this year, knowing that next year that's going to be me, and it's a real surreal feeling, knowing that all those people are going to be watching me, but it's going to be great knowing that the Army Black Knights, those are going to be my brothers once we all graduate.
So let's talk about a little bit about you on the football field. Like you said, you play a little bit on both sides of the ball. How difficult is that for you? I mean, it's a big level of football that you're playing in. It's rare to see guys contribute on both sides of the ball. How do you keep yourself balanced, offense, defense? I mean, is there a side you favor? Do you just like the fact that you get to stay out there?
I love the fact that I get to stay out there. And like I said, football is my passion. I love it. During the off-season, conditioning has been a huge part of Coach Castner's program. We've gotten bigger, faster, stronger, and we've gotten in a lot of great shape.
Well, conditioning is certainly something you'll be very familiar with over the next 4 years as well. Do you ever think maybe you should just play on the special teams? It's easier to stay on the field than run to the sideline and run back out?
Well, I've always thought about that. I'd love to, but you know what?
It's not your call?
Yeah, it's not my call.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Let's move down the line here. We'll go next to Andrew. And Andrew Lucky, offensive lineman. First of all, I don't like to generalize. I want to know what position you play on the line.
Last year I started at right guard, and this year right now I'm at center.
At center. So that's a huge connection over here on the left side of the table between you two. Talk about what it's like, I guess, to make that move, because now it's not your first step that's as important as the snap and the first step, making sure you make that transition on every play, something everybody takes for granted, and yet if it doesn't happen, that's the end of the play right there. So I'm sure that's something you've worked on to make sure that's a seamless motion, play in, play out.
Yes, I have. I played center up until freshman year until I made the move to left tackle, and now that I've been back at center, it's been a lot easier knowing that I play center a lot and knowing that I get the snap back there.
And one thing I know about playing center, not from experience, just knowing from other guys, that you're never on the backside of the play. When you're the left tackle and they run right, you kind of be lazy. You just got to get a hand on a guy. Maybe he's got contained. It's not a big deal. Not a hard block. That's not the case at center. I mean, you've got to be, you're generally the front side of the play no matter where the ball goes.
Yeah, playing center, knowing that I'm the most important person on the field and the snap has to be back there for the play to happen is pretty important, and knowing that I'm in on every play and not always on the backside is a big deal to me.
And I guess you control that huddle until the big man to your left steps in too.
Yes.
You got to get everybody in line so it's a ready, well-oiled machine by the time he gets in there.
Yeah.
So looking forward to senior year at the center. Anything planned for you after the football season?
I'm looking to play, hopefully, Division I football. I have 2 Division II offers right now and Division I AA, but my goal is Division I.
In the end, one thing we heard from the Sycamore Aviators, 4 more years is still 4 more years no matter where it is. So I look forward to watching you play. Good luck, and let's lastly go over to the Quarterback is you hand the ball to him, much like you will all season long, play to play. Jets. You are the point man at quarterback, but now it's your senior year at quarterback. Talk about maybe the pressure and the excitement about being that guy and knowing that it takes 10 other guys to get the job done, but you've got to make sure that everybody's from the huddle, in line, ready to go, get in the play. Talk about that importance that you play, not necessarily even in the play so much as that leadership role.
Well, I think everybody has the butterflies in their stomach first and second play. Step out on the field, you just pretty much got to swallow it all. But the leadership role, it comes with the position. Coach Castner has told us a lot about becoming more vocal leaders. I think we're working on that. But yeah, I think everybody's job is really important on the field. Mine just happens to be, I get the ball every play, and I think, going back to what you said about the snap and the exchange and everything, we just switched to the pistol offense, so that might be a little crazy this year too. But yeah, the leadership role, me, Matt, and Andrew have all pretty much taken each other and the team under our wing, so.
And it's easy to be a vocal leader. I mean, anybody can be a rah-rah guy, but if you're not doing it on the field, guys aren't going to listen to you. So, I mean, I feel like you definitely got to embody the fact that no matter what you say to guys, if you're not doing it first, if you're not the man to follow, no matter what you say, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Oh, no, you got to back up whatever you say. I mean, anybody can get up there and say, let's go, beat the borough, whatever. And, but, I mean, it really just ends up how you perform on the field, how you finish every rep, as we say at the Atrium Stadium.
Now, let me ask you this. You talk about being the leader, but it's easy for an offensive lineman or a guy in the backfield running the ball to just know where he needs to be. You got to know where every other guy has to be. All 10 guys have to be, because you've got to know if the left tackle's going to block out, or if the running back's got that block on a pass play. You got to know all the routes. If you're a receiver, you just need to know your route. How difficult do you find that to be, to know that you've got to really know what 11 guys are doing, not just what one is?
Well, the good thing about our playbook is a lot of plays branch off of each other. I think we got a pretty good, a solid layer of plays that, like if we say a word in one play, it'll pop up in another play. It'll just be a little more complex. And I think that's something that you can really build on. And I sometimes envy other players not having to know as much as I do, but when you take on this kind of role, that's what comes with it. So that's actually what makes it a great role to take on.
You're really going to envy it when one of the linemen asks you who they're supposed to block about midway through the first game. You're going to say, how do you not know that?
I definitely have gotten fired up at a couple of young guys too, but they're all learning. So.
Well, we look forward to learning more about the Mason Comets. Anything in your plans for the future right now?
Well, I think everybody in this room wants to play Division I football. I'm not going to tell you any different. So, I'm just going to keep working at it and see what comes.
Play those 10 plus hopefully games this year and figure it out after that.
No, hopefully is an understatement.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mason Comets for 2013, and just a few minutes we'll have Loveland up here, but give it up for the Mason Comets. Guys, thank you so much.